Please, for the love of God, regardless of what's going on in your life, do not post it to the internet. Welcome to AIL, where entertainment isn't just what we watch, it's who we are. Spend enough time online and a pattern begins to emerge. Moments of success might get attention, but moments of failure often spread much faster. A celebrity controversy, a very public mistake, a creator being called out in real time. Across social platforms, these moments frequently dominate timelines and comment sections. In many ways, watching someone else's downfall has become a form of digital spectacle. But why? Why are audiences drawn to this? The answer may lie in a combination of psychology, social behavior, and the way modern platforms are designed. There is a psychological concept known as schadenfreude, a term that refers to experiencing satisfaction or pleasure when someone else encounters misfortune. While the word may sound harsh, psychologists note that the feeling itself is surprisingly common. Humans are social creatures, and people naturally compare their own lives to those around them. When someone perceived as powerful, wealthy, or successful experiences a public setback, it can temporarily disrupt those comparisons. For some observers, that shift can create a subtle sense of relief. It does not necessarily mean someone actively wishes harm on another person, but it does help explain why audiences sometimes feel compelled to watch these moments unfold. Modern platforms also play a major role in shaping how these moments spread. Social media algorithms are designed to prioritize content that generates strong reactions. Posts that provoke outrage, shock, or intense emotional responses are more likely to be shared, commented on, and circulated widely. Because of this dynamic, controversies and public mistakes often travel much faster than everyday achievements. In other words, the platforms themselves amplify the moments when someone's reputation appears to be unraveling. This is not necessarily because audiences consciously seek out negativity, but because the systems delivering content reward emotional engagement. As downfall culture has grown, so has a more calculated approach to it. Some creators are no longer just caught in controversy, they are actively creating it. In an environment where attention is one of the most valuable forms of currency, being talked about can be more beneficial than being ignored. And because negative reactions often generate more engagement than positive ones, controversy can become a strategy rather than a consequence. This can show up in different ways. Deliberately provocative opinions, content designed to offend or divide, situations that feel engineered to spark backlash. In some cases, the goal is not necessarily to be liked, but to be seen. And within the structure of social platforms, that approach can work. Posts that trigger strong reactions, whether outrage, frustration, or disbelief, are more likely to be pushed to a wider circulation. As a result, creators who lean into controversy may see increased visibility, even if the response is largely negative. This creates a feedback loop. The more attention controversial content receives, the more it enforces the idea that provoking a reaction is an effective way to grow. Over time, this can blur the line between genuine expression and performance. It becomes difficult to tell whether a moment is authentic or intentionally constructed for engagement. And for audiences, this adds another layer to downfall culture. Because sometimes what appears to be spontaneous controversy may actually be part of a broader strategy, one designed to capture attention in an ecosystem where visibility is consistently being competed for. Another factor contributing to downfall culture is the speed at which information now travels. In previous decades, scandals or controversies involving public figures often unfolded over days or weeks through traditional media coverage. Today, these events can develop within hours on social media platforms. Millions of people may witness the same moment simultaneously, creating a kind of collective commentary as events unfold in real time. For many viewers, the experience becomes less about the individual involved and more about participating in the broader conversation. The internet has effectively transformed certain controversies into live public forums where reactions, debates, and opinions appear instantly. Part of what makes these moments so compelling is not just the event itself, but the story that forms around it. Audiences are not only watching what happens, they are interpreting it, shaping it, and in some cases, rewriting it in real time. Every controversy begins to follow a familiar narrative structure. There is a rise, a turning point, and then a fall. Viewers assign roles: the protagonist, the antagonist, the victim, the audience. In many ways, downfall culture mirrors the structure of storytelling that people have been drawn to for centuries. The difference now is that these narratives are not fictional. They are happening to real people in real time with millions of participants influencing how the story unfolds. And unlike traditional storytelling, there is no clear ending. Another layer to this phenomenon is the relationship audiences form with public figures online. Through consistent content, interviews, and social media presence, creators and celebrities often feel familiar to their audiences. This is known as a parasocial relationship, a one-sided connection where viewers feel personally invested in someone they never actually met. When a controversy arises, that perceived connection can intensify the reaction. For some, it may feel like betrayal, for others, disappointment, and for some, validation if they were actually critical. This emotional investment can make downfall content feel more personal than it actually is. It is no longer just about observing an event. It becomes about reacting to someone the audience feels they know. One of the most significant tensions within downfall culture is the gap between how quickly people form opinions and how complex most situations actually are. Online information is often incomplete. Context is limited and narratives are shaped within minutes. But real life situations really fit into clear categories of right and wrong. When millions of people respond at once, nuance can easily get lost. Early assumptions can become widely accepted narratives before all the facts are fully understood. And once a perception is formed at scale, it can be incredibly difficult to reverse. This creates an environment where judgment moves faster than understanding. Not every audience member engages with downfall content out of curiosity or entertainment. In some cases, viewers see their participation as a form of accountability. Commenting on a controversial situation or condemning harmful behavior can function as a way of signaling personal values to others. In this sense, the reaction itself becomes part of the performance of digital identity. However, the speed and scale of these conversations can sometimes blur the line between accountability and spectacle. One of the most uncomfortable questions surrounding downfall culture is whether audiences sometimes treat real people's struggles as entertainment. Watching someone's reputation collapse, career stumble, or personal mistakes unfold publicly can easily turn into a form of content consumption. This dynamic raises complicated questions about empathy, responsibility, and the nature of online engagement. Not every viral moment reflects the full complexity of a situation, and once something spreads online, it can be difficult or nuanced to keep up with the pace of public reaction. Another reality of the internet is that moments of failure rarely disappear. Unlike in the past, where public memory could fade, digital platforms preserve content indefinitely. Clips, screenshots, and commentary can resurface long after the initial event has passed. For the person at the center of the controversy, this can mean that a single moment continues to define their public image for years. For audiences, it reinforces the idea that every mistake is permanent. This permanence changes how people engage online, but it also raises questions about growth, accountability, and whether spaces exist for people to move forward after public missteps. It is easy to view downfall culture as something that simply exists out there on the internet, but the reality is that audiences play an active role in sustaining it. Every view, comment, share, or reaction contributes to the visibility of these moments. Even choosing to engage out of curiosity can help push a story further into public attention. This does not place blame on individual viewers, but it does highlight how collective behavior shapes what the internet prioritizes. Downfall culture is not created by a single person or platform. It is the result of millions of small interactions happening simultaneously. Ultimately, the popularity of downfall content may reveal more about the structure of modern media than about individual viewers. The internet rewards immediacy, emotion, and spectacle. Content that sparks strong reactions tend to travel the farthest, regardless of whether that reaction is positive or negative. As a result, moments of controversy often dominate the conversation. This does not necessarily mean audiences are inherently cruel or eager to see others fail, but it does suggest that the systems delivering our information are designed to elevate the most dramatic moments. And in the age of social media, drama travels fast. As conversations around digital ethics and online behavior continue to grow, there has been increasing awareness of how these dynamics impact real people. Some audiences are beginning to question how they engage with viral controversies. Others are choosing to step back, seek context, or avoid participating in speculation altogether. While downfall culture is unlikely to disappear, the way people respond to it may continue to evolve. At its core, the internet's fascination with downfall is not just about failure. It is about emotion, comparison, storytelling, and the systems that amplify all of it. It reflects both human psychology and the structure of the platforms people use every day. And perhaps the more important question is not simply why people watch these moments, but how they choose to respond to them. Because in a space where attention drives visibility, even passive observation can shape the outcome of someone else's story. And in the end, downfall culture is not just something people witness, it's something they help create. So, what do you think? Is this just entertainment, or does downfall culture say something much deeper about us as an audience? Let me know in the comments down below. And if you're into this kind of breakdown, make sure you subscribe and hit that bell notification. See you in the next one.